Do you like light turkey sandwiches? Then you'll love the new premium carb turkey and bacon sub at Subway restaurants. It's oven roasted just right, sliced thick just the way you like it. And just when you think it can't get any better, look out. It's got crispy bacon in there too. Order one today on your choice of freshly baked bread. Then select any veggies you want to make your premium carb turkey and bacon sub uniquely yours. It's a great sub for people who really like turkey. Subway, fresh is what we do.
Blog Talk Radio.
Well, good late afternoon to you folks, and thank you for tuning in with me once again to another edition of True Conservative Radio. And of course, I'm your host, the man they call Ghost, and I want to thank you for tuning in with me once again. This is a great political news day. It's been somewhat of a decent political news week out here. Of course, the leading stories, the Clinton slime machine, like I've stated all along to everyone who has been listening to my program since the beginning. Like I've stated all along, folks, the Clinton slime machine cannot be underestimated. People were anointing Barack Obama 2 months ago as the man who's going to be the candidate for the Democratic nomination for president, and I have stated, and you can look back in the archives, that don't underestimate the Clinton slime machine, and I've stated this, and I've prognosticated a lot of political events, folks. For all the people that have been listening in, and I don't mean to be tooting my own horn, folks, but beep, beep. The bottom line is that I have prognosticated most of the things that have come to pass out here based on political observation, empirical evidence, and just damn common sense. And I just wanted to talk about a little bit of that this evening, how the Clinton slime machine is basically taking the wind of public opinion away from Barack Obama, even though he's winning the supposed delegate count. Not that that means much anymore to the communist Democrats. But at the same time, folks, if you happen to be in New York, or if you happen to know about New York politics, and if you happen to have been watching the mainstream media, Eliot Spitzer, Mr. Elliot Ness of modern society, the sheriff of Wall Street, the man who took down the president or the main man of the New York Stock Exchange, the man who prosecuted people, he was the self-proclaimed steamroller, this man that was supposed to be a clean person, Mr. Clean, untouchable, the whole 9 yards, the man has fell from grace, folks. He has fallen from grace because, like every liberal and every Democrat out here, they talk out both sides of their mouth, and he got caught with a damn prostitute. Well, he didn't get caught with a prostitute. Let me strike that. He was part of an investigation, or not him directly. He just happened to be caught up in an investigation that apparently the federal government was looking into about a certain prostitution ring, and this man happened to be a part of it via supposedly client number 9. And of course, folks, if you've been listening in to the mainstream media coverage, I'm sure you pretty much know all the vivid details about Spitzer's fall from grace, and it's a shame, folks. It really is a shame. Because I feel bad for that wife of his. We're going to get into all that in just a minute. I just wanted to thank everybody who's tuning in with me right now. Ozone, I can see him in the chat room at the present time. How are you doing? And, of course, what's going on to everybody who's listening to me on other parts of the Internet, I want you to participate, like always, in our discourse. 646-652-4869 is the number to call. But anyway, folks, let's go ahead and start off with this Eliot Spitzer nonsense. This is pretty bad for the Democrats. And as you can see, this man has no friends. Not even the Democrats are coming out to save this guy. It's a damn shame. Here's a man that was supposedly had a clean record, a family man, self-proclaimed steamroller, the supposed sheriff of Wall Street, the man that was supposed to be uncorruptible. Eliot Spitzer, unfortunately, got caught up in some ridiculous nonsense, folks. And what I don't understand is the absolute hypocrisy. And not only that, folks, the Democrats are just basically throwing them under the bus. Haven't you noticed that? I mean, they're not even taking up for this poor bastard. You know, the man got caught with his pants down, literally, and where are the Democrats? They're not talking two diddlies about nothing. And, of course, the Republicans and the Conservative Party, folks, there is a Conservative Party in New York. They are talking about impeachment. If this man doesn't step down here within the next 48 hours, the Republicans and the Conservatives in the New York State Legislature are talking about filing a resolution for articles of impeachment. And this is a very precarious situation that Spitzer has himself into. And this was a man who has completely fell from grace because this man put himself on a higher pedestal than the average, regular, everyday schmo out here. I mean, it was told to us by the mainstream media that this man, during his reign as the Attorney General of New York State, this man prosecuted 2 prostitution rings. I mean, he prosecuted 2 prostitution rings and basically had a little bit too much to say about it. Now, I'm not going to paraphrase the man because I don't know his exact quote, but from what I understand, Elliot Spitzer didn't really look too highly on the 2 prostitution rings that he prosecuted during the time he was Attorney General. Or not Attorney General, excuse me. It's stupid, man. And I just don't understand this hypocrisy. Now, I know that the Democrats are going to, sit here and spew off a bunch of nonsense about a couple of Republicans that have fallen from grace. And let me tell you, now that this Elliot Spitzer nonsense has come to light, you have the mainstream media pulling out all the indiscretions of past politicians and their public announcements and their absolute humiliating spotlight while sitting there trying to talk to the public that elected them into office. One in particular is this ridiculous piece of prostate-infected, toe-tapping, wide-stance trash, Larry Craig. This man, let me tell you something, folks. This man should be ashamed of himself, just like Elliot Spitzer. I don't give a damn if you're a Republican. I don't give a damn if you're a conservative, a Democrat. I don't care. If you're a hypocrite and you're going to use the public office to completely demoralize yourself, you need to get the hell out. And today, according to the mainstream media, Larry Craig is talking about trying to file some sort of motion or some sort of legal proceeding to try to drop the guilty plea he pled in Minnesota. And, of course, this was the guilty plea about him going into a men's crap stall, a crapper. And apparently, I was just barely made aware of this thanks to the mainstream media, and I think it was disgusting for them to tell us the protocol on how to get anonymous sex in a men's restroom, which is just completely disgusting. Okay? But apparently, old Larry Craig over here knew the whole protocol, tapping the toe or touching the feet or whatever the case might be, and this idiot disrespecting not only the Republican Party, not only his family, but America, because those people that elected that piece of trash into office had no idea that this man was a wide-stance toe tapper. I mean, he was sucking schlong heads in a crapper stall, folks. But this is what I'm talking about, folks. I don't really give a damn what side of the political persuasion you're standing on. If you're going to be a damn hypocrite, get the hell out of public office, all right? Get out. And just like this case with Elliot Spitzer, folks, this man put himself on a higher pedestal than his average, everyday Democratic counterpart. He put himself as Mr. Untouchable, the supposed self-proclaimed steamroller of politics, a man who supposedly prosecuted everybody who was in his way politically. And now the man gets caught with his pants down. He's in here. He's been, pulled out for what he is. He patronizes escort agencies. And not only is he patronizing escort agencies, the man is paying, it came out today in the mainstream media, allegedly this man has spent up to $15,000 in the past 6 months on high-priced hookers. And you see, that's what I'm talking about. Absolute hypocrisy. And you know who I feel bad most? Most of all for? that poor wife of his. I feel bad for Mrs. Spitzer. I mean, did you see her face? I mean, it looked like somebody shot her damn dog right in front of her. It was damn disgusting, and I felt sorry for her. I felt sorry because I'm sure that this wife of his stood by his side when he was out doing his whole supposed attorneying thing, his political thing. And instead of him going out there being an honest man, being an honest husband, being an honest father, this man was out here putting his pecker shaft in high-priced hookers. And who knows, okay? Who knows if he was utilizing public money to do this, folks? And, of course, that is not even alleged. Who knows? We don't know the speculations behind all this Elliot Spitzer nonsense, but it's getting uglier by the second. Like I said, folks, you got the Republicans and the conservatives in the New York legislature talking about impeachment. You've got Elliot Spitzer saying that he's not going to step down, even though he set himself up at such a high pedestal. He's not going to step down. It's just like that Larry Craig piece of trash, that toe-tapping, schlong-head-sucking piece of garbage. I don't care who you are, folks. I don't care what side of the political persuasion you're sitting on. If you're going to be a damn hypocrite, if you're going to utilize your public position and power to get away with some of this ridiculous garbage, you need to get the hell out of office. And that's exactly what Larry Spitzer or Larry Craig should do. Excuse me. I mean, there's so many of these nimrods out here having some of these indiscretions. But I don't care who they are, Larry Craig, Elliot Spitzer, you need to step down and you need to apologize not only to your wife, not only to your children, but you need to apologize to the American people. You immoral piece of trash. And let me tell you, folks, it's a sad story. It's a sad story because this man was supposed to be the big hope for the Democrats. He was supposed to be Mr. Untouchable. The Sheriff of Wall Street, Mr. Clean. I doubt he's clean, let's put it that way. And I feel bad. I'm not taking any joy in Mr. Spitzer's misfortune. I am not. I mean, as a matter of fact, I mean, this is a man who's worked hard to get into the position that he's in today. I don't agree with the methods that he's utilized, his power. But the bottom line is, folks, is that this man has worked hard to be in the position he's in. And what is he going to do? He is going to throw it all away for some high-priced whores. And, you know, folks, I don't care what side of the political persuasion you're in. If you're going to make yourself fall from grace, that's simply, you need to get the hell out of public office. And that's all there is to it. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, conservative. I don't care what you are. I mean, you need to have some sort of moral ethos when you're in office, okay? Unless you're going to be Barney Frank or some crap. All right? I mean, Barney Frank, he's admitted, hey, he's open homosexual. All right? I mean, just come out and say it. If you're an adulterer, go out and say it. If you patronize prostitution rings, go out and say it. Remember, you're working for the American people, you piece of crap. And that's what upsets me the most, folks, is that these people are our public servants. Remember that, folks. Just because these people are sitting in high positions of power, this government is still the American people's government. And unfortunately, we have such a barrage of ignorance in our American populace today that it completely goes over the head of the average American person that this is their government. And, of course, folks, that's why I come up on this program, hopefully to relay this information to American people that are probably walking around half dead, that they need to understand that this is still a free society, this is still a free country, we still believe in the American Constitution, and this is their government, damn it. We need to keep up to date on what our damn public servants are doing out here, and I hope that an investigation is done thoroughly to see if Elliot Spitzer used any type of public funding to his vice, that is patronizing high-priced whore bags. I mean, it was alleged that this Emperor's Club, which is the supposed prostitution ring or the escort service allegedly utilized by Mr. Spitzer, apparently, these hookers go as high as $5,500 an hour. Are you kidding me? $5,500 an hour? What the hell do you get for $5,500 an hour? I just don't understand it. I mean, you see, I wonder if those women are paying taxes on that money. As a matter of fact, the whole investigation around this Emperor's Club is based around money laundering and, I believe, tax evasion. And there should be a thorough investigation of this because we don't need this type of crap infiltrating our bureaucratic government, folks. You have to think about the individuals that run these types of prostitution rings and other such nonsense that partakes in the black markets and illegal activity. If they are luring these types of people of power, that gives those people in the black markets power, folks. That gives them power to to blackmail our public servants to their benefit. That gives them an edge over every one of us, and that's not fair, folks, because we are the American people, and those public servants that we send to office, whether it's at a local, state, or federal level, they need to answer to the American people. And I'm of the persuasion, folks, that Elliot Spitzer needs to get the hell out of the governor's seat. He needs to get the hell out while he still has half a face left, if you will. And he needs to hope that that wife and those 3 daughters, I mean, I feel bad for those 3 innocent daughters that have to go to school and have to face these classmates who have seen their father on TV admitting that he's sitting there patronizing high-priced whore bags. I mean, can you just imagine these poor 3 daughters of his? I feel bad for her. I feel bad for his family. I feel bad for his wife. I feel bad for everybody involved in this situation. But you know what, folks? Elliot Spitzer brought it on himself, and he should be ashamed of himself, folks, honestly. And you see, he went out there, and it seems to me he has no shame. If he had shame, he would have stepped down yesterday. He would have stepped down. But he's not going to step down. Why? Because he's a power-hungry autocrat, folks. And why is he a power-hungry autocrat? Because the American people let these individuals continue to get away with this type of crap. And like I said, you take a good look at toe-tapping, schlong-head-sucking Larry Craig, and you take a look at how this individual refuses to step down, that's exactly what I'm talking about, folks. And let me tell you, those people in Idaho who are his constituents out there, Larry Craig, they need to be jumping up in fury for this man to step down. He's despicable. He should be ashamed of himself. And, of course, he's not going to do it. And that goes for Elliot Spitzer, and that goes for anyone else who basically cripples the moral integrity of any seat of office that they hold. And that's the bottom line, folks. That's all there is to it. I mean, anybody who disagrees with me is probably an adulterous piece of trash themselves. All right? I mean, look, it's one thing to commit adultery, okay? Let's say, and I'm not saying that's right, believe me. Anybody who's listened to me knows that anybody who commits adultery should be thrown in jail. I mean, that's what I think. I mean, personally, I know people disagree with me on that. People think I'm a nut job when it comes to that sort of thing. But it's this adulterous mindset. It's this ridiculous nonsense that it's okay to go out and get divorced. That's why you have 5 or 6 divorces as a majority out here in America. That's why we have single-parent families as the majority out here in America, because we have this social mindset that it's okay to partake in this deviant activity. And it's just okay, that it's just socially acceptable to do so. It's not. Okay, folks, it's not. But I'm going to just say this. It's one thing to have an adulterous affair that doesn't encompass a politician from utilizing or allegedly utilizing or possibly utilizing any type of public funds to pay for any hookers or payoffs or anything of that nature. But it's another thing to sit here and partake in illegal activity, folks. Prostitution, illegal activity. Toe-tapping in a goddamn men's bathroom, illegal activity. All right, and these people need to step down, and that's all there is to it. Anybody who tries to stick up for these pieces of trash, you need to go look at your own moral character. And I'm not basing morality on any religious sense. I'm basing it on a personal moral ethos sense. Everybody needs to start remembering that they need to have some moral integrity for themselves, for Christ's sake. If we don't have moral integrity for ourselves anymore, then what the hell is left for our country? Anyway, folks, I want to hear from you about it. We're going to spend a little bit more time about this Elliot Spitzer nonsense, then we're going to go on to the Clinton slime machine. And if you look back in my archives, folks, you know that I have stated, and I will continue to state, that Clinton is going to win this nomination. But we're going to get back to that in a minute. I want to hear from you. 646-652-4869 is the number to call. I wanted to thank everybody for tuning in with me today. Like I said, it's a real juicy news day. Elliot Spitzer's fallen from grace. Mr. Untouchable, the sheriff of Wall Street, has admitted that he has partaked in illegal activity, allegedly being a part of the Emperor's Club, which is a escort agency that basically takes their johns off the internet or through text messages or phone calls or other various mediums of that nature. And unfortunately, Elliot Spitzer has been involved in this subject matter. And I think that Elliot Spitzer needs to step down. He has put himself at a higher pedestal than any of his Democrat counterparts. And I think that he needs to live up to the standard that he set for himself. I mean, he's a complete hypocrite. All right? I mean, what I'm waiting for, and this is, I'm surprised I haven't seen it, I am waiting for the mainstream media to find the whore. That actually tricked this Elliot Spitzer. I want an interview with this whore bag here. I want to know. I want to know what was said. I want to know if he used public funds. I want to know this sort of thing. I think everybody should know, for Christ's sake. Because he's a public servant, damn it. It's a public servant there. And I'm sorry if I'm getting a little upset here, folks, but I'm sick and tired of seeing our public servants partake in such ridiculous activity, folks. Self-destructive activity. Now, you got to think, why are all these politicians out here partaking in this activity? Well, I've come to one and only conclusion. They actually think that they're above the law. Yeah? That's what I think. That they think that they're above the law, and that no matter what they do, no matter what type of deviant activity that they partake in, no matter what they say, they're going to be able to get away with it, folks, and that's not right. It's not right, folks, and if you have yourself some common sense, like I said, folks, you don't have to be some brilliant, articulate intellectual, all right, to have common sense and not be an ignorant bastard. And this is why I come up on here on a consistent basis on the Blog Talk Radio Network, folks, so that I can relay to people that are completely absent-minded to the fact that this American government is their government. But you see, you got the majority of the American populace out here voting for ridiculous reasons that have nothing to do with political substance. Nothing to do with it. This is our government, folks. Remember, I mean, this is your government, my government, everyone who's a real American. And I take that very seriously, folks. I take that very seriously, near and dear to my heart. I still believe in the American Constitution. I still believe in the American way. But it seems to me that everybody is more worried about shoveling food down their gullet like a damn garbage disposal, you know, feeding their fat asses, as opposed to partaking in the apparatus that controls their everyday lives, and that's the government, folks. That's the government. Nobody wants to partake in it. You know, nobody even wants to understand it. And this is what I tell everyone out there who just is already adapted to a certain mentality level, you know. After the age of 18, if you don't go to college or if you don't, have yourself some sort of intellectual curiosity, typically you're going to stop your mental growth at whatever age you stop either gaining any intellectual insight or have any motivation to gain knowledge. And I say this, you need to stop that mentality. You need to learn something new every single day. And if you learn nothing else, folks, if you learn nothing else in this life, learn about this bureaucracy that is our government. All right? If you don't want to learn nothing else, learn about the bureaucratic tentacles that make up the American government, because if you don't, you might as well stick a Kentucky Fried Chicken grease thumb up your ass so you can practice how hard you're going to get done up the tailpipe by the government that is governing your life. And that's all there is to it, and that's straight talk, folks. If you're taking offense to that, I'm sorry. It seems to me that the only thing that gets across to people's thick skulls in this country is some brash, straight talk. That's all there is to it. I mean, I get all kinds of emails from all kinds of individuals, and some of those emails tell me, well, why are you so brash, Ghost? Why do you use abusive language? Well, that's the only thing that people listen to, for Christ's sake. That's why. And I'm angry, folks, and you should be angry too. You should be just as angry as I am that we have an American public that is completely absent-minded to the fact that the American government is their government. And that's why when I see Elliot Spitzer out here, supposedly setting a high moral standard for himself and completely contradicting that, it pisses me off. This is a man who prosecuted 2 prostitution rings as his reign as Attorney General of New York, and yet the man is partaking in prostitution ring business, for Christ's sake. I mean, it was told to us in the mainstream media, allegedly this man has been partaking in this activity for the past 6 months and has spent $15,000 on hookers, folks. $15,000. Now, I know most folks that listen to me are middle-class Americans. What could you do with that $15,000 in this shady economy that we're living in today? I'm sure that you could use that and use that to support your family. What is this man doing? He's out there paying high-price whore bags. And this is supposed to be a public servant, folks, and I hate the fact that this man came out and brought his poor wife. His poor wife. I feel for this woman. I mean, you could see the pain on her face. I mean, it looked like somebody shot her puppy right in front of her, for Christ's sake, and I feel for her. He brought his wife out in the public spotlight, and what did this man say? Oh, this is a private matter. It's not a private matter, Spitzer, you piece of trash. It's not a private matter. You're a public servant, so it's a public matter. It's a public matter, so pull your ass out of the closet and start talking about it, or if not, step down and get the hell out of office. And that's all there is to it, folks. If you disagree with me, well, then you're an adulterous piece of trash yourself, with all due respect. Anyway, folks, I want to hear from you, 646-652-4869. We're talking about politicians falling from grace. The only reason I'm highlighting Elliot Spitzer is because he's the man right now in the mainstream media press. I'm talking about all of them, folks. I'm talking about all of them. Larry Craig, I don't care what side of the political spectrum you're sitting on. If you're partaking in deviant, illegal activity, get the hell out of public office. That's all I'm suggesting, folks. I mean, that's just my simple suggestion. I mean, it pains me to see a poor wife. I mean, did you see Elliot Spitzer's wife? It was just sad, man. I mean, you could tell that this woman has been crying for long periods of time, and what did this scumbag do? He yanks her out and puts her in front of the public spotlight, man. And he has no shame. No shame the fact that while he was Attorney General, he prosecuted 2 prostitution rings, and here this man is going and contradicting everything he stood for, and it's a shame. He was partaking in illegal activity. Now, like I said, folks, if this was some adulterous affair, well, then it may be a private matter. I don't particularly justify adultery. Everyone knows my stance on that. But if it was an adulterous affair, well, then maybe it would be a private matter. But this man was out here, allegedly, according to the mainstream media, he has been partaking in high-priced hookers for the past 6 months, and apparently he spent $15,000 on it. Now, no one knows where the $15,000 came from. No one knows if it's public funds. No one knows any of this garbage. But I think we need to get to the bottom of it, and I think Elliot Spitzer, Larry Craig, and all these disgusting pieces of deviant crap, they need to get the hell out of public office because they obviously don't have the public interest at hand whenever they're up here in power. And this is a perfect abuse of power. And these people think they're above the law. They are not above the law. All you people that are sitting there watching this on the news, you need to start calling these people. Remember, these people work for you. This is your government, all right, folks? This is a government made for the people, by the people. And we need people in office that are going to have the American people's interest at hand. And obviously, every power-hungry autocrat, or I should say the majority of them, the majority of all the power-hungry autocrats in office today could give two rats' asses about the American public. And if you don't believe me, go ahead and look at the legislation that these autocrats are passing for us. And I don't care what side of the political persuasion you're on, left, right, it's the same crap, different plate, unfortunately, folks. That's why I have dropped the Republican out of this show's name. This show used to be called True Conservative Republican Radio. But, folks, I'm not stupid, okay? I'm not going to sit here and turn a blind eye to the fact that these parties are one and the same. And I don't want to get into that tirade. Everybody knows my opinion on that. If not, I suggest you listen to the archive. But it's a shame, folks, that we have public officials out here that just are completely disregarding any type of moral integrity, and in the case of Elliot Spitzer, any type of hypocrisy or. I mean, it just got me upset, folks, because I don't like Elliot Spitzer. I never really did. I knew he was a power-hungry autocrat. He abused his power to benefit himself politically. It's been documented. It's obvious. And now this man gets caught with his pants down, literally. And now the man doesn't know what to do. I mean, he's talking about how he doesn't want to step down. You have the Republicans and the conservatives in the New York legislature talking about impeachment, and I think that they have grounds to do so, folks. Anyway, that's all there is to it. I don't want to spend too much time on this Spitzer nonsense. All I want to relay to you folks is that this is not right. You know it, I know it, and I feel bad for his 3 daughters and his wife. My heart goes out to him genuinely. I mean, I feel bad. I mean, you know, no woman should have to take that kind of public ridicule. I mean, just imagine the daughters when they have to go to school and have to take the ridicule from their peers and say, hey, I saw your daddy on TV. He's out there getting high-priced prostitutes. It's great. I just don't understand. Anyway, folks, 646-652-4869 is the number to call. We're going to move on. We're going to get on something else in the agenda today. Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton, folks, and I'm telling you, I have been a prognosticator of prognosticators when it comes to this political field, and I challenge everybody to look back in the archives on everything that I said that was going to come to pass that has come to pass. And the bottom line is, folks, is I have told everyone out there that no matter how many delegates, no matter how many states Barack Obama wins, never to underestimate the Clinton slime machine. And folks that have been listening to me on a consistent basis can attest to this. I've been saying this for the past 3 months, for Christ's sake. I mean, I told you so, folks. And let me tell you, if you think that Barack Obama, and I'm not a Democrat, folks, but I'm just a political observer here, I really could give 2 rats' asses who's the nominee for the Democrats, but I think that what the Democrats are doing here is basically perpetuating this kind of Marxist, communist-style governing body, if you will. I mean, this superdelegate garbage kind of reminds me of Vladimir Lenin. It kind of reminds me of the vanguard of the proletariat. I mean, this is sick, folks. I mean, I don't understand how the Democrats can be so optimistic. You know, I just got done. I'm down here in Texas, folks, and Hillary Rotten Clinton apparently won Texas out here. But you should have seen all the Democrats all over Texas. And, I mean, they were just optimistic. They're we are the world. Everything's great. Everything is not great, okay? Everything is not great. And what I don't understand is every time I talk to a Democrat, okay, every time I talk to somebody who's voting for either one of these pieces of trash, I ask them why they're doing it, and they can't give me a politically substance-filled answer. Like I said, folks, I had a lady call in several weeks back talking about how she's going to vote for Barack Obama because he's got nice teeth. And you see, folks, this is the kind of mentality of the majority of Democrats that are partaking in our political arena out here, people that are voting for ridiculous collateral matters that mean absolutely nothing. And this is why I've been so critical of everybody running for president, folks, because I'm an American, okay? I'm a conservative first and foremost, but I'm an American, and I care about what happens to America. I care about what happens to the American people. And that's why, I just can't stand by and continue to be a part of the Republican Party anymore when I know that the Republican Party and the Democratic Party are the same party. Or it's the same party. John McCain is 2 issues away from being a full-blown liberal. Anyway, you all know about that. You know my viewpoints on John McCain. The point is, folks, is that I have prognosticated that Hillary Clinton was going to be the nominee. I said it in the beginning. Even when people called up and said, no, you know what, Barack Obama's going to get it. Barack Obama's going to be the man. You know, they were swearing up and down that this man was just going to be the nominee. He was the anointed one. I told you so, folks. I told you not to underestimate this Clinton slime machine. Do you hear Hillary Clinton out here? She's talking about Barack Obama being her vice president, and she isn't even ahead on the delegate count, for Christ's sake. But you see, folks, I told you. I told you not to underestimate the Clinton slime machine. And I guarantee you, and I've prognosticated, and I'm going to stick with my prognostication, folks, Hillary Clinton's going to win the nomination. Even if she has to split the Democratic Party, she's going to win the nomination. And I know that kind of puts a bad taste in most Democrats' mouth out here, because, there was a lot of Democrats that listen to me that are for Barack Obama. And they listen to my show. And they continue to believe that this Barack Obama is going to get the nomination. Folks, he's not going to get the nomination. I don't give a damn what the delegate count is. The Clintons will split the country before they concede to losing the nomination. And that's a fact. And that's why I'm saying, the Democrats should be ashamed of themselves. Haven't you noticed that the mainstream media is just kind of riding this along like some goddamn game? It's not a game, folks. We're at a pivotal point in history out here. And this is why I keep bringing up these subject matters that I consistently talk about on a consistent basis, because nobody's talking about them. And what are those things? I'm talking about our economy. This economy is dwindling on a thread, folks. We've got a devaluing American dollar that concerns me because I'm a business owner, okay? I'm seeing the impact of this horrific economy that we're living in. And right now, as it stands, America is no longer the country where one can be born into nothing and with hard work, motivation, dedication, can go and turn out to be prosperous. You can't do that. Not anymore. Somebody who is born right now, today, I feel sorry for those kids. Because I don't know what the future holds for America. As a matter of fact, all these presidential candidates are talking about are nothing but a bunch of talking points that no one has any type of specifics behind. All they keep talking about, is we need jobs, we need this, we need that. How are you going to do it? No one has explained how they're going to do this crap. And that's why I scream, folks. That's why I'm sitting here screaming all the time, because, folks, I am not a conspiracy theorist, okay? I'm not one of these nut jobs that are out here pulling things out of my derriere and calling them truth. As a matter of fact, folks, every time I tell you anything, I tell you to look it up for yourself. Because these are facts, folks. I'm not saying anything that isn't a fact. And I'm not telling you to believe in what I believe in either. Okay? That's what most people like to do in the blogosphere and other folks in the Blog Talk Radio Network. They want to talk about you listening to them because they're supposedly the ones with the answer. I'm not saying I have the answer, folks. All I'm doing is being critical of my government because it's my right to do so. It's your right to do so because it's our government, man. It's our government, man. And I want to talk about the economy, folks, and none of these people are talking about it. Barack Obama, what does he keep saying? Change, change, change. I think he's saying change so much is because that's all we're going to have in our pockets once this presidential nomination is finally, pulled forth, if you will. We're just going to have change in our pockets. Because, folks, this economy is dwindling. And I'm not just saying that. Just look at the facts, okay? Look at the facts. We don't produce nothing anymore. We don't produce anything. And we set an economic precedent that has never been set in economic history, folks. And what is that? I'll tell you what it is, okay? We have set a precedent that we have consumed as a country more than we produce. Now, I know there's a lot of people saying, well, what in the hell does that mean? Well, that means just as it says, folks. We're buying more than we're selling. And if we're buying more than we're selling, how is that a recipe for a stable economy? And, of course, none of these Democrats, none of the Republicans, nobody, media, nobody's talking about that. The only thing we produce in America, cheeseburgers, entertainment. That's it, man. And, you know, why is the mainstream media not talking about it? Well, because you won't watch the TV if they're talking to you straight talk. You know, they know you're not going to be attracted to the realisms of our American society, of our American government, our American economy. They know you're going to flip the channel to an old episode of Seinfeld or some crap. So what do? They give you ridiculous nonsense news. You know, the latest animal on Paris Hilton's crotch. You know, I mean, if Britney Spears has shaved her melon again. This is what's news. This is mainstream news out here. And it's sad, folks. And then you worry about these imbalanced trade deals. These imbalanced trade deals that are signed with international countries out here that have basically shipped the means of production from the United States into communist China, Mexico, and other third world nations out here. And what has that done? Well, that has put a whole millions and millions of people out of work. And those people out of work, where are they going to find work? They're finding work in the service industry because that's the only industry still alive in America. And what are they doing in that industry? They've got to compete with 20 million illegal immigrants that are devaluing the cost of labor, for Christ's sake. And, of course, nobody is talking about these subject matters, folks. That's what I don't understand, man. Democrat, Republican, it doesn't matter. I mean, I love America. I love the American Constitution, folks. And this is what I'm talking about. You got the media harping. I mean, they've been harping on this Elliot Spitzer thing. And believe me, I think that this is an important issue. Don't get me wrong. But we need to start talking about serious issues that are going to affect us as American people, folks. Because look, you take a look at the Great Depression. Okay, read about it. We were still producing cars, planes. I mean, we were still producing products out here. We were, man, and we still went into a depression. You want to know why we're not in a depression yet, folks? It's because of our own ignorance, man. It's because of our faith in this dollar that has been so devalued out here. That's the only thing keeping our economy afloat. I'm not just talking out of my ass when I say that, man. You've got high-end retail stores in New York City right now that are no longer accepting American money. And that's what I'm talking about. I mean, I remember a time you can go anywhere in the international community, no matter where you went. You pull out some presidents, you pull out a Benjamin Franklin, Andrew Jackson, it doesn't matter what language, what culture, what country, they're going to accept that money. But, folks, we are no longer the universal currency of the world. And for all of you that don't know that, you don't know your ass from your elbow. I mean, the Deutschmark, folks, the Deutschmark is worth more than the dollar. But the universal currency in the international community is now the euro dollar. The euro dollar, folks. And that's what some high-end retail stores in New York City are only exclusively accepting. Euro dollars. It's no longer the American dollar. And once again, I challenge the Democrats because they're making a mockery of our political system, with all due respect, if you happen to be a Democrat. I mean, it's just an absolute disgrace. Now, I don't want Barack Obama to be the president, okay? But the man is obviously leading this ridiculous delegate count, whatever in the blue hell that's supposed to mean. And yet, how in the blue hell does Hillary Clinton have the gall to sit here and try to offer up the vice presidency to Barack Obama? I just don't understand. I don't understand what gives her the place to do so. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. This whole super delegate crap, you know, this whole Florida, Michigan garbage. You know, I mean, I just don't understand. I just don't understand. Anyway, I want to hear from you folks, 646-652-4869. We're talking about a whole bunch of different subject matters. In the beginning of the hour, we talked about how Elliot Spitzer is basically fell from grace. He should be ashamed of himself. He should step down, just like Larry Craig, just like all these deviants out here that are making a mockery of public office. They need to step down and get the hell out of here. All right? I mean, that's the bottom line. Especially Elliot Spitzer, who put himself at such a high moral standard that now he's sitting here, basically with his pants down. During his time as Attorney General of New York, this man prosecuted 2 different prostitution rings, and what is he doing? He's giving business to a black market prostitution ring, and the man should step down. He should be ashamed of himself. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. And we moved on from that, folks, talking about the Clinton slime machine. Like I've stated, folks, and you can look back in the archive, I have been the prognosticator of prognosticators on here. I mean, and I've patronized all the Blog Talk Radio Network shows, and none of these people have been as accurate as I am, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but beep, beep. I told you so. I mean, people were calling me up anointing Barack Obama as the man. They were anointing him as the presidential candidate for the Democrats, and I've told all of them that, hey, don't underestimate the Clinton slime machine, man. And I even said this about a month and a half ago. And you can look back at it. I said this a month and a half ago. If it comes down to Hillary Clinton and the Clinton slime machine brokering a deal under the table, they're going to do it. I mean, they'll even broker a deal convincing delegates that have already been spoken for via the primaries and caucuses to switch their votes against the popular vote. This is what I'm telling you. I've said this a long time. And it's sad, folks. It really is sad because the Democrats, it should be ashamed of themselves, honestly. And the Republicans, too. I mean, I'm not trying to justify the Republicans either. I mean, they should be ashamed of themselves. I mean, the Republicans are a joke now. I mean, look at John McCain out here. Like I said, there's 2 issues that make him a supposed Republican. The fact that he wants to extend the war on terror into Iran, and Pakistan, and Syria. He wants to extend the war on terror. And the other thing that supposedly makes him a Republican is that he's pro-life, which I don't believe. You take those 2 issues away from him, the man wants to raise taxes. He's already talking about raising taxes on gasoline, which would devastate our economy. But let's continue on. The man's talking about giving an amnesty for 20 million illegal immigrants out here that have devalued the cost of labor. The man has wiped his ass with the First Amendment, with McCain-Feingold. I can go on and on about this crap. This man, if you look back at his record, the legislation that he's passed, this man wants more taxes. He wants more bureaucracy in our faces, more government, and that goes against the old-school Republican principles, folks, and I'm not going to continue to embrace this crap if, they're going to go against Republican principles. And what boggles my mind, folks, is that the Republican Party has been able to infiltrate the Republican base, and I've had for the past 3 months, I have had Republicans on the Blog Talk Radio Network chastise me, spread slanderous lies about me, personally attack me because I refuse to vote for any of these people. I'm not going to vote for McCain. I'm not voting for Barack Obama. I'm not voting for Hillary Clinton because none of these people give 2 rats' asses about the American public. And if they did, then they would talk about issues that affect us, folks. If they really cared, they would tell us their agendas at hand. They would tell us how they're going to bring jobs back to America. They're going to tell us in straight, plain English what they stand for and not split hairs. You know, not sit here and try to maneuver words and that sort of thing. As a matter of fact, all I'm doing as an American is trying to vote for conservative, because I'm a conservative. I'm going to try to vote for conservative candidates at my local level, my state level, my congressional and Senate seats, and I'm going to try to promote candidates that have not only my conservative interest, but America's interest, folks. America's interest. I mean, that's all I want. I want America to prosper again. I want us to be the leader in economics in the international community. I mean, that's what I want, folks. I mean, you've got third world countries producing better products and education than our country here. We're supposed to be the richest country on the face of the planet. I just don't understand it, man. Anyway, folks, 646-652-4869 is the number to call. I know there's a lot of people that listen to me on the Internet, and they're a little intimidated to call up because I'm screaming and hollering. But, folks, it's because I believe in this country. I love this country. I have ancestry that traces back to world wars, civil wars, revolutionary wars. And to see what America is transitioning to is just absolutely disgusting. And it should disgust you too, folks. I mean, we're seeing a systematic transition from what we know of as America, the American Constitution, American freedom, into something that's quasi-socialist communist. I mean, just take a look at government expansion. Take a look at all the government subsidies that are being handed out to folks out here. Look at this economic stimulus package that's a slippery slope down socialist path. I mean, just take a look around you, folks. This is not good. You know, and of course, nobody either talks about it, knows about it, cares about it, and it's a shame, folks. That's why I'm so angry. That's why I scream, I break things. I mean, if you've listened to me before, folks, I throw things around in my own home. Because I just cannot stand the fact that nobody is discussing the subject matters that I discuss on this program. And I'm not asking anybody to agree with me or anything of that nature. I'm not dictating to you how to think. All I'm suggesting is, folks, is that we have to have discourse, debate on subject matters that are going to affect you and I. I mean, is that wrong? I just don't understand it, folks. I just care about America, folks. I don't give a shit. Excuse me, I almost cursed there. I don't care what side of the political persuasion you're on, okay? I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican. We should have America's best interest at hand, okay? We shouldn't turn a blind eye to America's interest based on party loyalty, okay? And that's exactly what's happened to the Republican Party out here, and that's why I've dropped Republican. I was a lifelong Republican, and I've dropped Republican from my party affiliation. I've dropped the name Republican out of this program's name because the Republicans have turned their backs on conservatives, folks. Not only have they turned their backs on conservatives, they have turned their backs on old-school Republicans. And what are old-school Republicans? Less government, less taxes, less bureaucracy in our faces. But that doesn't mean diddly anymore, folks. It doesn't matter who you vote for. It's the same crap, different plate. That's all there is to it. 646-652-4869, folks. And I'm sorry, I almost cursed like a damn sailor. But, hey, it upsets me, folks. I get upset when I start talking about these subject matters because nobody else is talking about them. And I'm glad that, you know, people that listen to me appreciate the commentary. Okay, because like I said, folks, I don't ever try to tell people what to think because this is America, folks. We got the freedom of thought, at least for the time being. We got the freedom of thought out here. All I'm suggesting to you is if you agree or disagree with subjects that I bring up on this program, I want you to go out and talk about them. All right? Because that's the only way we're going to fix things in America is if we have discourse and if we have some sort of debate on subject matters that affect you and me. Go out and talk to them. Talk to these subjects about your family. Talk to these subjects about just talk about them. Sorry, folks. Yeah, I know I'm getting a little out of hand here. I know I'm getting out of hand. But, folks, the reason I'm so discombobulated is because I love the American Constitution. I love America. Okay? I don't know about you folks, okay? I know that maybe a lot of you are more worried about party loyalty, about, worrying about who has better teeth, or who's a woman, or who's this, or who's that. You need to take your heads out of your clogged up colon holes and understand that this country is in dire straits, folks. And I'm not just saying that, okay? I'm not trying to be some fear-mongering jerk-ass like most of these conspiracy theorist nut jobs out here. I'm basing everything I'm saying on facts. And you can look it up for yourself. Our economy is in ridiculous shambles. We have nothing anymore, okay? I mean, don't you understand that? We produce nothing. Our damn money, all right, our dollar is about to be worth the equivalent of toilet paper if we don't start getting our act together. We need to start paying off this debt. And how are we going to do that? Well, I wasn't against the war, folks, okay? I wasn't against the war, but since we're in this war right now, I don't believe we need to cut and run out of Iraq. I think what these presidential nominees should be talking about is forcing this ridiculous Iraqi parliament to pay us back in full with interest. They need to pay us back our debt for liberating their stupid asses. And I know people are going to be like, oh, Ghost, I can't believe you're talking about that way about the Iraqi people. Hey, I'm saying it. And I want one of these candidates, and let me tell you, if one of these candidates say this, I will vote for them. I will bypass everything that I hate about any one of these candidates if they say one thing. And that's that they are going to force the Iraqi government to pay us back for all the debt incurred liberating their stupid asses. Because let me tell you something, folks, the second largest oil deposit in the world is right underneath Iraq. Okay? The second largest oil deposit in the world is right underneath Iraq. So what they can do is pump that damn oil out of there, sell it in the international community, and give us the money. Hey, England paid us back in World War II, folks. They sure did. You think America went to help out the French and the English for free? Hell no! And it's sad, man. How are we going to get our best ally, okay, the Brits? How are we going to get our best ally to pay up with interest, and we're going to sit here and allow these Iraqi pieces of trash that we liberated to be scot-free? I don't understand it. And, of course, none of these politicians are saying anything about that because the American public is an ignorant piece of crap. And that's why my slogan is, the American public sucks. And why does the American public suck? Because they're ignorant. And you don't have to be an articulate intellectual, like I've stated before. You don't have to be some brilliant Rhodes Scholar not to be an ignorant bastard. All you need is common sense and the ability, the will, and the motivation to go out and seek knowledge. Henceforth, after that, you're not an ignorant bastard anymore. So that's all there is to it. Anyway, folks, 646-652-4869. I'm going to go ahead and take a call here. 704, you're on the air.
What's going on, Ghost?
How you doing?
Doing fine, man. I agree with the statement about making them Iraqis pay us back. It makes no sense for them to have all of that money and oil over there. And, I mean, we went in with an agreement with them that they didn't have to pay us. You know, that just totally makes no sense, and I don't see how, with the state of our economy, we can afford $12 billion a month to keep prosecuting this war. To me, it doesn't matter whether you're for it or if you're against it. I'm talking about common sense. I'm talking about how can we, with the state that our nation is in, with our infrastructure crumbling, spending $12 billion a month to build up a country that did not greet us with flowers, but greeted Ahmadinejad with flowers. I mean, come on.
I agree with you completely. Now, like I said, I wasn't against the war, but whether you're for it or against it at this point, we need to recoup that debt. We can't do what these Democrats are talking about cutting and running, because then we'd still have that debt that no one is going to pay back. I mean, we borrowed all this money from communist China, which I think China is a bigger threat than anything else in this international community.
I totally agree.
And I think that we need to force these individuals in Iraq to pay us back with interest. I mean, it's only right. They have the resources to do so. And of course, none of these people that are running for president are discussing anything of that nature. As a matter of fact, they're not even talking about the debt. They're not talking about the devaluing of the American dollar. They're not talking about imbalanced trade deals signed by these power-hungry autocrats in Washington. They're not talking about the 20 million illegal immigrants that are devaluing the cost of labor. I mean, there are so many factors that are the reason why our economy is tanking so much. Nobody is talking about it. And you see, of course, you got the mainstream media not talking about it because everybody would flip the channel. You got these politicians saying a bunch of blanketed statements that really mean diddly. And I don't understand why nobody else is talking about these subject matters. Nobody is affected by this. And the only conclusion I can think of is we're just a bunch of ignorant pricks.
And I mean, if we're so-called being there under a UN mandate, then how come the UN's not funding it? Why is it the American people funding it if we're there under a UN mandate?
Well, you know what? That's a good question. I mean, but you see, no one is talking about that either. I mean, you know, and to be honest with you, I think we need to get away from the United Nations, if you want my personal opinion.
Oh, I agree with that too. But I'm saying if we're going to say, if President Bush is going to say he went in there under a UN mandate, then the UN ought to be footing the bill.
Absolutely. And I just don't understand. And, of course, the reason I say that no one's talking about these subject matters is very complicated. And, of course, we have a public education system, and I'm very against the public education system, that has dumbed down America. Like I said, nobody cares about anything anymore except for, you know, what's the latest shoes they're wearing, if they're, what's the latest animal on Paris Hilton's crotch. I mean, these are the dumb, idiot news subject matters that are being put forth by the mainstream media, and I just think that America is doing themselves a disservice by being so stupid and not talking about subject matters that are going to affect us here in the next year or two. Now, I've stated that this stimulus package is a slippery slope down socialist path. Now, the only reason George W. Bush initiated this is because he doesn't want to be the president when this economy finally fails and erodes from the inside out. And the reason I stated this is because right now what we have is we have a bunch of tax rebates, tax returns, getting back to folks that make under a certain amount of money each year. They're getting their tax rebates back. So that's going to sustain those folks from spending up until about May. And when May comes around, that's when you have this economic stimulus package kicking in. So that'll extend into the summer. And what the economists or these idiots that are cooking the books are suggesting or trying to speculate is that the tax rebates, the stimulus package, by the time of the holidays, around Thanksgiving, Halloween time, that would generate enough jobs to make everything look good on paper. And this is what I'm prognosticating this. After Christmas of next year, we are going to see probably one of the biggest economic hits that America has ever seen.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think the rebates are something like $300 per family or whoever it is that qualifies for it. How far do you think $300 is going to go?
Well, actually, it is $1,000 for a family, $300 just for a regular individual that makes under certain amount of money each year.
But still, how far do you think that can go, especially with the cost of everything going up?
I agree. Believe me, I think that this stimulus package is a slippery slope down socialist path, and the only reason George W. Bush, and I will never forgive him for this, I was actually a big fan of Bush until some of these ridiculous laws, ridiculous legislation that he's been passing recently, particularly which this stimulus package. This is a slippery path down socialism, and this is not what America was. I mean, once the government starts giving us money so we can sustain our everyday lives, I don't care what anybody defines it as, that's socialism.
But you know what? That money ain't free, though.
Absolutely.
It's
China.
money.
That's China. And you see, that's the whole hypocrisy of our economy out here. The Chinese government is lending us the money, and what are we going to do? We're going to spend it on Chinese goods. So we're giving the money right back to them, and yet not only are we giving their money back to them, we're paying interest on the money they lent us. So it's just ridiculous, and that's why people need to take their heads out of their derrieres and start reading a little bit, start understanding that this government that was for the people, by the people, needs to be looked at for the people, by the people.
You know, I was a big Ron Paul supporter. I don't care. Anybody can call that man kooky, whatever they want to say. But if anybody, this man has not only has a record in Congress, but he has written numerous articles, especially on economics and everything. He's pro-Constitution. He's for actually no federal income tax. And for the media and for the Republicans to allow this man to be played like he's some kind of lunatic, you know, that was the most conservative candidate I believe you had running. You know, and then you look back at Ross Perot. Ross Perot warned us about these free trade agreements, that it was not going to benefit us. But what happened? They ridiculed him. Oh, he's just a crazy old man. But look, everything he said is coming to pass.
Absolutely.
It's just crazy that people can't think for themselves and research stuff for themselves, and they let the media dictate, what these candidates actually stand for. You got to research that stuff for yourself. But thanks for taking my call.
No problem. I thank you for calling in. And you know, that's just right. I mean, that's exactly what the caller just suggested, that people are just lazy. They're intellectually lazy to sit on their asses and watch the boob tube and expect to get accurate news and information from a corporately run media. I mean, don't you people understand that the only way the media is going to make money is if you're watching the television? And if you're not watching the television, they're not going to make any damn money. So what are they going to do? They're going to show things that are going to keep you glued to the boob tube. And you see, folks, if you are utilizing this as your sole source of news and information, you're intellectually lazy, you're a fat jelly-ass bastard, and you should, I mean, with all due respect, you need to be hitting the head repeatedly with an Acme brick. Okay, folks, because it's your ignorance that is perpetuating the downfall of America. Okay? I mean, these are real subject matters. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I hate conspiracy theorists. But, folks, just look at what's happening to our America. Look at the economy. Look at the legislation that's being passed. Look at these trade agreements. Look at the agreements that we're entering into with Canada and Mexico. I mean, you take a look at what the agreements we are partaking in, and I want you to look them up. And you compare them to what happened pre-European Union, folks. I'd challenge you, just whatever search engine you utilize, you read about the European Union. You read how that even started. And it'll be a real eerie on what you're seeing here today happening in America with Canada, Mexico, and the United States. And I'm telling you, folks, I've never been a conspiracy theorist in my life. Okay? I've been a lifelong Republican. I'm a conservative, folks. But you take a look at the legislation being passed, the free trade agreements being passed, you take a look at some of these things being engaged by the hypocrites, these power-hungry autocrats that we're sending to Washington. Folks, you need to wake up and need to understand that this is still your government, damn it! I mean, don't you understand that our forefathers gave us the Constitution? Don't you understand that? I mean, they gave us unalienable rights that were never given to man prior to that document. And the more and more I continue to live on this earth, the more and more I'm seeing those rights being withered away. I mean, folks, this is our government, folks. If you're an American, this is your government. Get up and participate in it. And if you're saying, well, Ghost, I don't know how to participate in this government. I mean, what am I supposed to do? I'm just one vote. You're right. That's why you need to figure out what is the most important issue to you. I mean, think about that for a second. Put the freaking fork down, okay? Put the freaking fork down, and I want you to think about the most important issue that gets your stomach boiling, you know, that develops that ulcer in the pit of your stomach. I want you to think about that issue that is near and dear to your heart. The one important issue, and it doesn't matter what it is, but you want to make sure that it is the most important issue you cannot live without or with. And you figure out that issue, and you go find out if there are groups that think like you do, and go join those groups. You go join those groups and figure out what their agenda is. You figure out what their chapters are. You figure out anything. And if there's no group that thinks like you, well, by God, go make a group. And go out and organize people. Go out and get people's names. Go out and get people's addresses and phone numbers. Okay? And once you have a group, once you have a force of people, that's when you can start being a political force in this democracy that we live in today. I mean, you start by congressional seats, okay? You take the issue at hand that is near and dear to your heart, and you approach these politicians and say, hey, wait a minute, what's your view on this issue? And if they're completely against what you think, well, you say, you know what, you better give us a little bit more consideration, or I'm going to get my group to vote against your ass. And let me tell you something, folks, they're going to get really scared. These politicians, remember, they're all about votes. And if you have enough people in your group that can make an influence in a congressional seat, in a Senate seat, in a local state representative seat, by God, you've got power. You've got power, and that's how you need to participate in your government. And that's all there is to it. That is all there is to it, folks. And on top of which, if you don't want to go and join a group, but if you still want to participate in your government, well, find out who your congressman is, find out who your senator is, find out who your state representatives are, go out and call these people, email these people, and ask them, what do they think about this devaluing dollar, this screwed up economy, and what are their ideas? And folks, if they don't answer you, go to your media and tell them that your politician isn't answering you. He's treating you like a piece of trash. I'm telling you, folks, this is the only way we're going to help remedy this situation, because this is still our government, damn it. But you got all these people in America so ignorant, so stupid, that they don't know their asses from their elbow. And this is what frustrates me, folks. This is why I sit here and scream on a consistent basis, because nobody is seeing this crap. Nobody cares. Why doesn't anybody care out here? Can somebody call me and tell me why nobody gives two rats' asses about the American government anymore? I mean, I know that the majority of the American populace is a bunch of ignorant goofy asses, a bunch of ignorant jerk nuts. But folks, I mean, at some point, what this government does affects you, affects me, affects everybody. And that's all I'm saying. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, folks. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican at this point. It doesn't matter. We need to start caring about America, American sovereignty, American Constitution, the American way, American economy. Stupid, man. It's absolutely stupid. And the last caller, I was alluding to China. Let me tell you something, folks. This Chinese government is the biggest threat to our national security right now. In my view, I think we need to give the big F-U middle finger to China. I hate China. Like I said, I have been trying to tell people that I hope the Chinese government chokes on their damn chopsticks. You know, I hope they choke on their egg roll, folks. And I'm not talking about the Chinese people. These are poor people that are subjugated by their government. And I feel bad for the Chinese people, but the bottom line is, folks, is that we don't need to be doing business with China. Because what are they doing? These imbalanced trade deals that we're signing with the Chinese government, what are they doing with it? All the manufacturing dollars that they're getting from American consumers, what are they doing with all that money? They're buying nuclear weapons, and they're aiming them right at America. And this is supposed to be our ally, this communist piece of trash, this Mao Zedong concept? This is supposed to be our ally? Absolutely not, folks. Absolutely not. And that's why I'm so upset. That's why I scream so loudly with fury and passion. Because, folks, if we don't start doing something soon enough, I don't know where in the blue hell we're going. I don't know what in the blue hell we're going to be doing here in the future, folks. We need to start understanding that we're Americans. We need to start worrying about the American people, the American Constitution, American sovereignty, America's national security. We need to start worrying about the American economy. We need to start worrying about these subject matters. And, of course, none of these nimrods running for president are talking about it. And I urge you, folks, I don't care what side of the political perspective, you're sitting on, I challenge you to call these people. No matter if they're Democrat, Republican, call these presidential nominees' headquarters and urge these candidates to start talking about subject matters that affect America. Okay? And tell them to stop being so vague. All right? Anybody can say jobs. Jobs. I could say the damn thing. Jobs. We're going to get jobs. I could say the damn thing. Tell us how you're going to get jobs. All right? Tell us how we're going to bring America back into the economic forefront of the international community. Explain in detail. All right, don't be purposely vague, you piece of crap. Jeez, man. And I'm telling you, it makes me sick, man. Anyway, folks, 646-652-4869. I know I'm doing a lot of hooping and hollering out here, but I hope that you understand, as a listener, that I mean what I say what I mean. I'm not sitting here trying to spew off a bunch of malarkey to you. All I'm trying to do is relay to you subject matters that nobody is talking about in today's America. That's all I'm doing. That is all I'm doing, folks. And I'm not trying to dictate to you how to think because, folks, this is America. We have the freedom of thought out here. All I'm simply suggesting to you is no be an ignorant bastard. And what is an ignorant bastard? Well, somebody that has an opinion about something they know nothing about. That's an ignorant piece of trash. And you hear these people, I'm sure that you're in a social arena or a social setting or at a party, a family event. You hear these jagoffs. You hear these nimrods. They have opinions and extensive opinions, and you know by the garbage they're spewing out of their blowhole that they don't know their asses from their elbow when it comes to the subject matter. That's ignorance, folks. That's ignorance right there. And we need to stop that, folks, because that's what's corroding America from the inside out. Nice, good drinking water here. Hydrates the soul, if you will, folks. Anyway, 646-652-4869. If you excuse me, I'm going to drink one more drink of water, and we're going to continue on, folks. Good stuff. Anyway, I know that there's a lot of people that listen to me on a consistent basis on here, folks, and they're always saying, well, you know what, Ghost, you say a lot of things over and over again. Well, that's because none of the things I'm saying are either being talked about or no politician is bringing that to our attention. And, folks, I mean, I love America. Like I said, I want us to be the leaders in economics. I want us to be the leaders in innovation. I want us to be the leaders in intellectual curiosity. But, folks, we are not. Okay, just take a good look around you. I mean, and there are so many subjects, folks, and I try to go through them all. But there are so many issues, so many subject matters that are affecting us. Obviously, the economic subject matters that I've already gone through. You take a look at the social landscape of America, folks. And what do I mean by that? The social landscape of America. I mean, haven't you noticed that we have a prominence of single-parent families? And why is that? Why do we have a prevalence of single-parent families out here? Well, you got the liberal media, of course, embracing this activity as if it's the social norm. I mean, you know, look at the television shows. I mean, I've alluded to a program that my granddaughter watches, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, which is a damn Disney Channel production. And what is this show about? Well, it's about two little rambunctious twin brothers that get into little, you know, little innocent, little kooky, little shindigs, little pickles, if you will. It's a little cute show. But then you take a look at the premise of it. take a look at the plot of it. And you'll realize that these two twin brothers are living in a hotel in this show. They're living in a hotel. And who are they living with? Their single mother. And why is their single mother living in a hotel in this show? Because she's a lounge act singer. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, we are seeing the social ills becoming the social norms, folks. And what does that have to do with America and American economy? Well, very simple. When you have families as the majority in America, the family gives people the motivation, the courage, and the will to go out and work and support their families, to put food on their tables, to put a roof over their head, clothes on their back. But when you have a single-parent family landscape that we're seeing here in America that is prevalent, where you have females, males, whoever, you have people having 5 or 6 kids from 5 or 6 different fathers, how motivated is one going to be to go out and work? They're not going to be. And this is what I'm talking about, folks. This is what I'm talking about. I mean, that's why you have a prevalence of entitlements out here. I mean, I hate to keep bringing up this one couple that called up my show about 3 or 4 weeks back talking about, hey, you know, we need help. This man was an Iraqi veteran. Him and his wife came on the phone, and his wife said that she went to go get some workfare assistance. You know, these were Republicans, folks. I mean, you just can't imagine, I mean, how bad they felt to go and try to get some sort of assistance from the government given our economic landscape out here. And you know what these people said? Do you know what the social worker said to this woman? Well, we can't really give you too much money because you're married to your husband. But if you happen to divorce your husband, if you happen to split up from your husband, oh, well, then we'll go ahead and give you free housing, free child care, free government cheese. We'll give you $2,000 a kid. We'll give you up to $5,000 to $6,000 worth of subsidies. How about that? And this is what I'm talking about, folks. This is what I'm talking about out here. That's why we're seeing a prevalence of so much entitlement, so much subsidies, welfare, government cheese, all this garbage. And you see, folks, I know it's hard for most folks to believe, but not everybody wants entitlements, okay? Not everybody wants welfare out here. All these people want is their government to govern properly. And what does govern properly mean? Well, that means to at least provide a decent economic landscape, all right, just a decent one, a decent economic landscape for someone to go out, get a job, and be able to support themselves with dignity, folks. But you see, you even have hard-working people that are willing to go out and work their asses off, not being able to find work out here to sustain themselves, to sustain their families. And why is that? That goes back to the economic situation that we were discussing earlier, folks. And this is why I come up onto this program on a consistent basis. This is why I continue to come up here. Okay, I'm a business owner. I could be a jag-off, okay? I could be a complete jerk-ass and say, you know what, screw everybody else. I'm doing okay. I'm a business owner. Great. No, that's not great. You see, people with that mentality don't understand the recourse of ignoring problems. You see, if people ignore problems, then eventually the problems are going to hit you personally. That's what people don't understand. And I don't understand why nobody's talking about them, folks. I really don't understand. Anyway, 646-652-4869 is the number to call, folks. I tell you, I'm drinking some bottled water, folks. And, there's a lot of people that criticize bottled water. I don't mean to get off on a sidebar here. But you know that for about 400 years, people didn't drink water. That's right. Because water was impure. They didn't know how to purify water for the longest time. So what did everybody do? What was everybody drinking? They were drinking beer. And you can look that up, folks. I'm a big history fan, so just decided to go ahead and throw that out to you. But anyway, folks, I want you to give me a call. 646-652-4869 is the number to call. We're sitting here on the Blog Talk Radio Network talking about the subject matters that are going to affect us as American people. And, folks, I really worry about America, okay? I mean, I really am concerned about America. I know that most people could give two rats' asses. They're sitting on their thumbs seeing how funny it feels, but it's not good. All right? It is not good. And that's why I come up on here. Anyway, this is 36 minutes. We got 35 minutes left, folks. I'm going to go ahead and take a break. I'm going to leave y'all with a song here. This is Hank Williams III, which is a pretty good guy. I love his music. He kind of traces me back to the old Hank Williams Sr., kind of depressing, getting drunk, passing out, that kind of tone. I really appreciate it, folks. So I'm going to go for a real quick break. It's going to be about 3 minutes, some odd seconds. And stay with me, folks. I will be right back. This is True Conservative Radio. Please hold on.
I said 7 long months and 39 days to turn my ways around. I said 7 long months and 39 days to turn my ways around.
There we go. That was little Hank Williams III, folks. He's a pretty good little artist that I appreciate, Hank Williams III. I suggest you go out, listen to him a little bit. If you happen to if you happen to like that kind of music, I strongly suggest you go out and listen to him, that sort of thing. I'm not trying to promote music on this program. I just utilized him to take a little bit of a break, chug some water down a little bit, and now we're back to the program here. 646-652-4869 is the number to call. Let me go ahead and lay down here for a second, folks. Like I said, I usually have this little shrink session, little kind of therapy session with the people that listen into the program. And I usually just try to lay back in my couch, and I just try to talk to people as if I was talking to a shrink. Now, folks, the reason I get so upset about subject matters like the subject matters I've been hooping and hollering about for the past couple of hours here, or hour and a half, is because, I mean, they're going to affect me. And I think that those that are in the international community that also listen to this program, it also affects them as well. Because, you see, we can't be somebody, or when I say the American people, we can't be ignorant out here. I mean, we have to be involved in our government affairs. And you see, that's why most people in the international community think we're a bunch of ignorant morons, is because here we are living in probably the freest society, at least so far. I don't know. I mean, until, at least at this point, we're still a free society. And yet, we can't seem to freely, I guess, govern ourselves, if you will. I mean, this is a government that was made for the people, by the people, and I just don't understand why the American general public can't understand that they need to accord themselves the responsibility to understand this bureaucracy that is our government, folks. And this is why I'm always so critical about the presidential nomination race out here, whether it's the Republican or the Democratic Party, because you know, this is a very important election, and we've got a lot of people voting for stupid reasons, especially on the Democrats. I mean, I don't understand where all this optimism is coming from the left. I mean, this is a pretty glib situation that we're living in here. And, I mean, you take into consideration the expansion of government, you take into consideration all the theaters of war that we're in currently, you take into consideration the amount of debt we're incurring, you take into consideration the economic, social landscape of America. I mean, we are pretty bad, folks. And like I said, you know, while everybody's tickling their ass cracks and thinking that everything's all good, I'm seeing everything for what it is, based on substance, based on research. You know, and I think that ignorant people should be ashamed of themselves. You know, I hate to keep harping on subject matters of this nature, but they really affect me. And I wanted to thank everybody who appreciates my commentary, that listens to me on a consistent basis. You're the only reason that I come up on here, folks. I mean, whether you agree or disagree with me, I understand that there's a lot of people that listen to me on a consistent basis. They appreciate the commentary. Whether they agree or disagree, at least I know that they're listening, and I hope that the subject matters being discussed on this program are being discussed in their own personal lives, you know, with their family, with their friends, and that sort of thing. Because we need to stop being ignorant, folks, and I'm talking about the American people. You know, the American public sucks, folks. I mean, we're so stupid out here, we could probably, the average American person probably thinks they can drown a fish. I mean, I'm not joking, folks. This is how stupid I think the American public is. And what am I basing my premise on the American public? Well, just take a look around you. Just take a look around you, folks. Take a look at what's important in people's lives in America. And it's very trivial. Very stupid. And that's why sometimes I just take a deep breath. You know, I'm laying on my couch right here, and I take a deep breath and, you know, one of those sighs, you know. Every time you take one of those sighs, you know, just take one with me. Just, you know, you feel the pressure in the ball of your neck back there just release itself. The shoulders become relaxed. And then you start thinking a little bit, and you're saying, well, why the hell am I doing this? That's what I say to myself. So why the hell am I up here? I mean, obviously, I'm not doing this for monetary gain. I just, if I was, then I'm pretty cheap if that's the case, because the Blog Talk Radio Network just emailed me a 50-cent royalty check. And, it's not like I get, crap numbers on this thing. On the contrary, I get triple-digit live numbers, and that's based on the people that listen to me on the Blog Talk Radio Network and on other areas of the Internet, because I have a few players, because, I can put one of these little Blog Talk Radio players on different parts of the Internet, and some of these people go to those websites and listen to my commentary from there. But I'm just saying, folks, it's not the monetary value is my point. It's just the value of commentary, the value of discourse, the value of debate. Everybody's, playing with their pecker shafts out here, thinking that everything is just going to be fine and dandy if they just ignore it and it'll go away. It's not going to go away, folks. It's not going to go away unless we start talking about these subject matters. And, I know I get ridiculed a lot. I get a lot of ridicule. I mean, you should read my email address, for Christ's sake. You should read how much crap I get in my email address. It's ridiculous. But, folks, I just love America too much. I mean, that's all there is to it. I love America. I just can't stand to see America go and flush down the toilet. But I don't know, folks. Maybe I'm off my rocker. That's why I'm sitting here laying down. I'm calmed down a little bit. I'm not screaming. Trying to talk to you as if you were my shrink, folks. I mean, maybe I'm off my rocker. Maybe I don't know what in the blue hell I'm talking about. But I do know this. I love America. I love the American Constitution. And, folks, and I'm having a heart-to-heart talk with you here, we need to start realizing that if we don't start participating in the situations that affect our lives, then we shouldn't bitch and moan about what is going to happen to us in the future. I mean, seriously. I mean, why do you think I'm bitching and moaning right now? Because I want people to participate in their government, folks. That's all. I mean, people need to participate in the government that was for the people and by the people. Is that so hard? I mean, I'm a true conservative, folks, And there are a lot of factors that are flushing our America down the tubes. There's a lot of factors. Of course, the economy, and we've already discussed a whole variety of different factors, folks, but the bottom line is, folks, what's ruining us morally, the feminist movement. And I know I harp on this subject matter a lot, folks, and I know I have a lot of women that email me up saying they'll rip my head off, menstruate down my throat, saying disgusting garbage like that. But the bottom line is, folks, is that feminism is ruining our country. Okay? It's ruining our country because, folks, the American family is what built this country. Okay? I mean, the American family is what created this country. It gave the Revolutionary Warriors that created this country that fought against the Redcoats. That's what gave them the motivation to do so. For their family, damn it. And, of course, nobody cares at this point. You got dumb, hairy, armpitted whorebags like Gloria Steinem sitting here spewing off a bunch of nonsense. And in my opinion, you got people like Gloria Steinem that are sitting here changing the woman appetite. They actually think that they're liberating the woman with these ridiculous theories. But in my opinion, folks, and let me tell you something, if you take a look at the social landscape, you take a look at the television, you take a look at all the statistics, you take a look at all the single parents and the divorces, and it'll be your opinion too. But in my opinion, folks, it's these whorebags like Gloria Steinem that has refashioned the woman appetite into becoming a subliminal prostitute. I mean, females are no longer getting with gentlemen anymore based on any type of romantic or emotional attachment, nothing of that nature, folks. It's all about monetary gain. That's what it is. I mean, it's all about monetary gain. And this is what Gloria Steinem wanted, in my opinion. And if she didn't want it, well, she could have fooled me. She could have fooled me out here. She's ruined our country. And I don't understand how Gloria Steinem can sleep at night, folks. You know, and if you're out there, folks, and if you happen to know Gloria Steinem's phone number or email address or some way to contact her, please tell her that I'm talking this amount of trash about her, okay? Because I blame her. Me. I blame her for the ruining of America, okay? This feminist movement has ruined America socially, folks. And if you want to sit here and spew off, oh, well, you're a little harsh, Ghost. And let me tell you, I get hundreds upon hundreds of emails from feminists threatening my life, saying I'm some sort of a chauvinist pig or some sort of a misogynist or something of that nature. But you see, that's the defense mechanism by the feminists, because feminism and liberalism is rooted in communism, folks. And this method of agitation, of calling somebody names and basically not acknowledging any of the subject matters being put forth by anybody on the debating table, it's a method of agitation utilized by the communists. And I'm saying, folks, in my opinion, you've got Gloria Steinem's and these other feminist, ridiculous theorists out here that have refashioned the woman appetite into believing that they are subliminal prostitutes. Now, I know that the average American modern woman is not going to admit that they're a subliminal prostitute, folks. But they are. I mean, look, I'm not trying to generalize, folks. I get a lot of emails from conservative females that actually praise me for what I do on this program. They actually, I had one woman say, I'm doing God's work. I'm not doing God's work. I'm just doing what's right. What is morally right, folks. That's all I'm doing. And I'm not asking you to agree with me. I'm just asking you just to look at this subject matter critically. That's all I'm saying. I mean, you take into consideration now, folks, that the modern everyday American relationship is no longer founded on romance or emotional attachment, anything of that nature. It's all based on monetary value. That's all it is, folks. And I've told you, and I'll say it again, I am an employer. And I employ a lot of younger gentlemen in their 20s, and they're all single, folks. And why are they single? It's not because they don't want to be. It's not because they want to be single, excuse me. They actually want to go out and find themselves a good partner to go out and have children and live that American dream that everybody tries to sell to us on television. But it's not that way anymore, folks. The social landscape, thanks to liberalism and this damn feminist movement, they've turned women into subliminal prostitutes. Now, let me give you my point. My employees, okay, these 20-something gentlemen out here, you know what they do with the checks I pay them? They go out, they get these great-looking sports cars, man, and they fix them up. They get these great-looking clothes. They get $10,000 watches, and I know for a fact that they are spending next week's cash, okay? I know that they're spending next week's cash on all these materialistic goods, but are they buying all those materialistic goods based on their own materialistic needs? Hell no, they're not, folks. Why are they buying all this crap? Because it attracts women, folks. That's right. And by very definition, folks, if materialistic goods is going to attract women, that is subliminal prostitution. And I know that there's a lot of females out there that are like, oh my God, I can't believe he's calling me a prostitute. Well, you know what? Get used to it. Get damn used to it. And let me give you another correlation, okay? Don't you understand, or don't you find it funny, let's put it this way. Don't you find it funny that most marriages end in divorce? after a man gets laid off from his job? Haven't y'all noticed that? Haven't y'all noticed that when a man gets laid off from his job, the woman for some reason decides to pick up and leave, take the children, and still trying to get child support off this poor SOB? I mean, haven't you noticed that? That's what I'm talking about, folks. The modern, everyday American woman at this point, thanks to Gloria Steinem, in my opinion, they have become subliminal prostitutes. And I think that Gloria Steinem should be held accountable for that crap. I think that these feminist writers should be held accountable for that crap. I mean, America is morally bankrupt based on this crap. I mean, I'm a foot soldier for the American family, folks, and the American family is being decimated thanks to this feminism and liberalism garbage. And just take a look around you. The social norms are now single-parent families. The social norms are people having 5 or 6 different divorces out here. Haven't you noticed that? People are having 5 or 6, 7 different divorces. They're changing divorces like they're changing dirty, skid mark-ridden underwear. And this is the norm. This is the norm out here, folks. That's why I just can't sit by and let it happen. All right? I mean, that's why I get up on the Blog Talk Radio Network and have programs of this nature, because I want people, whether they agree or disagree, I want them to think critically about these subject matters that I bring up. I remember a point in time, not too far back in the distant past, if you will, where a woman was shunned if she had a child out of wedlock. She was outcasted. I remember a time when a woman was called a Jezebel if she got a divorce. And that wasn't based on any kind of religious principles, folks. That was based on social, moral ethos. That's all it came down to, folks. But because of liberalism and because of feminism, you have basically had the moral bankruptcy of America. And there's no way you can debate me against that. You can't debate against it. You can try to debate against it all you want, but you can't do it. And that's the bottom line, folks. We need to get back to the way it used to be. We need to take our heads out of our clogged up colon holes, and we need to understand that the feminist movement is a social ill on our society. And I'm an anti-feminist, folks. I am an anti-feminist, and I don't care who has anything to say about it. I mean, you know, and this is what feminism, this is what feminism is, okay? This is the culmination of feminism. Women are equating, shitting out about 5 or 6 kids from 5 or 6 different fathers. They are equating that with woman liberation. They are equating women having 5 or 6, 7 different divorces with women liberation. And you see, this is what I'm talking about, folks. We got to get away from this crap. I mean, that's all I'm suggesting, folks. I mean, unless you have a better remedy for it. I know I have a lot of liberals that call me up every time I talk about this subject matter. They try to tell me that this is some sort of social evolution, which is the biggest bunch of philosophical horse crap I've ever heard in my life. I mean, how are you going to call this social evolution when Darwin himself, okay, the man who wrote The Origins of Species and Natural Selection, the man who created the whole concept of evolution, he even wrote and said himself that his theory of evolution did not pertain to human sociality. Excuse me. He said it. You can look it up yourself. There is no such thing as social Darwinism, folks. This is a made-up concept. So for all you liberals that are sitting here trying to say that, oh, it's social Darwinism or some kind of garbage like that, you don't know your ass from your elbow, so get out of here. That's all there is to it. And it makes me sick. It makes me sick to my stomach that these feminists can sit here and spew off all this garbage. They have ruined America. They have made America morally bankrupt. And that's all there is to it, folks. That is all there is to it. Anyway, folks, we got about a little over 10 minutes left in the program, folks. We covered a whole bunch of variety of different subject matters. We talked about Elliot Spitzer falling from grace and how I think he needs to step down from being the biggest hypocrite of all time and forcing his poor wife and his 3 daughters to go through such a humiliating ordeal. He should be ashamed of himself. And he needs to step down, and those Republicans and conservatives in the New York legislature have every right to file a resolution for articles of impeachment tomorrow. And I've already given Spitzer an ultimatum that if he doesn't step down within the next 48 hours, they're going to fulfill those articles of impeachment. And they should. And my heart goes out to Elliot Spitzer's wife. Mrs. Spitzer, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you had to go through such ridicule and such embarrassment, that you had this moron drag you in the middle of this spotlight, right in the middle of all these cameras. The poor woman looked like she'd been crying for about 5 or 6 hours. And I feel sorry for those 3 little girls, those 3 daughters of his. I mean, I could just imagine the amount of ridicule that they are taking with their peers in school. I could only imagine. And I really feel sorry for them, folks. And you should too. I mean, how would you like that to happen to you? You know, here you have your significant other, you're putting all your emotion, you're investing all kinds of yourself into this person, and then you find out that this person is going to a whorehouse and, you know, participating with high-priced whore bags. That's great, huh? That's faithfulness. And you see, this comes back to what I'm talking about, folks. America is morally bankrupt because of liberalism and feminism, folks. It's sad, man. It really is sad. But that's America. And, of course, our public education system, they dumb us down like a bunch of Nimrodic buffooneries out here. They don't even give the people that they teach, you know, the public education system doesn't give the people they teach any type of insight on the bureaucracy that is their government. They don't teach them how to participate in their government. They don't teach them anything of that nature. All they teach them is a bunch of malarkey, man. That's all they teach them. Nothing but a bunch of malarkey. Political correctness. And like I said, folks, political correctness, feminism, all this garbage, it's all rooted in communism. And if you don't believe me, folks, I challenge you to do your own research about Frankfurt University and read about the literature written by those professors. It's all Marxist in nature. And they were the ones that created this whole concept of gender separatism and political correctness and all this garbage. You can look it up for yourself, folks. I'm not talking out my ass when it comes to these subject matters. And this is why I consistently come up on here and tell people that what we're witnessing out here is complete and utter Marxism. Whether it's political correctness, whether it's feminism, whether it's ultra-liberalism or liberalism itself, folks, it's all Marxism. And it's a sad sight to see, given that this is America. This is supposed to be an America governed by the American Constitution. And the more and more I seem to live on this earth, it seems to me the more and more deeper we get into this communist, quasi-socialist government that we are witnessing right now. We've got an expansion in government that is just completely handing out all kinds of government subsidies to all kinds of nimrods. I mean, the left, that's why everybody on the Democrat side is so such an optimist out here, because they believe that whoever is elected into office, whether it's Barack Hussein Obama or Hillary Rotten Clinton, they actually think that either one of these people is going to give them everything from their house, their car, their job, their dog, their wife, their goldfish. I mean, this is what these people think that, is going to be given to them by these Democrats. And they're sadly mistaken, folks. Sadly mistaken. And, you know, I hope that some of this commentary I say out here, because I know I kind of offend a lot of people out here, and if I offend you, you know, shove it up your ass. But if you actually listen to my commentary and I actually light a fire under you, will go out and participate in this American government, folks. I don't give a shit what political perspective you're on. Whether it's the left, whether it's the right, it really doesn't matter. We're Americans first and foremost when you start talking about the American economy, American sovereignty, the American Constitution, and the American way of life. That's what we need to start talking about. That's what we need to put emphasis on. And all you people that are trying to divide the country with these ridiculous collateral matters, you're not an American. You're a piece of crap, and you should be ashamed of yourself, all of you. And that's why I come up here, folks. I'm a conservative first and foremost, but the bottom line is that I want to see what's best for America. I don't know about you people, but that's what I want to see. I know many of you people want, you know, to continue to shove bonbons down your gullet. You know, you want to continue to shovel food like a pig. I mean, that's what you want to do. It's ridiculous, man. Anyway, folks, we got about 5 minutes left here in the program. I wanted to extend a thanks to everyone who consistently listens to me on a consistent basis. I thank you very much dearly. You're the only reason why I come up on this program, folks. Only reason. And I hope that all the commentary that you listen to on this program, I hope that you relay these subject matters to everybody else, your family, your friends, colleagues, acquaintances. And you don't have to agree with me, folks. You do not have to agree with me. All I'm simply suggesting is talk about these subject matters. That's all I'm suggesting. That's all I'm suggesting, folks. Anyway, thank you once again for tuning in with me. I'd like for you to check us out in the archive. Like I've stated, I have prognosticated a lot of what has come to pass out here, and I'd like for you to verify that for yourself. Check out the archive, www.blogtalkradio.com/ghost. That's GHOST. And, of course, if you happen to have this little MySpace little social arena out here, by all means, add me to your friends list and tell everybody you know to add me to their friends list, www.myspace.com/ghostpolitics. All one word, no underscore, folks. And hook me up as your friend. And check us out in the archive. Whenever you're bored, just check us out. Download us in your iPods, that sort of thing. If you know somebody that would appreciate or hate this commentary, by all means, use the email option here given to you by the Blog Talk Radio Network and email this show to somebody that might hate it or like it. Because we need to talk about these subject matters, folks. We really do. We really, sincerely do. And the sooner we start talking about these subject matters, in my opinion, the better off America will be. The better off we'll start understanding our bureaucracy that is our government. And the sooner people will start taking their heads out of their asses. And I know that a lot of people are like, oh, Ghost, you're a little harsh. I can't believe you say that. Well, too bad, folks. Too bad. Because you need some straight talk out here. There's too many people out here that are just completely ignorant pieces of trash. And that's why I say the American public sucks. And once I start seeing some intellectual curiosity in America, well, then maybe I'll start changing my slogan. Anyway, folks, I am signing off. I wanted to thank you once again for tuning in with me. Please bookmark www.blogtalkradio.com/ghost, GHOST, and add me to your friends list on MySpace. That's myspace.com/ghostpolitics. And like I said, folks, I'm here every Monday through Friday between the hours of 4 and 7 p.m. I may skip an occasional day or two, and sometimes I have some spontaneous shows on the weekend. So all I suggest to you is add me to your favorites, and you'll get the latest on when Ghost is going to be on here on live, or whether he's in the archive, whatever. I encourage you to give me a call. We could talk about these subject matters, whether you like me, whether you hate me, it really doesn't matter. I wanted to thank everybody for tuning in with me. Until next time, folks, I am out of here. Long live the conservative movement. And, of course, folks, death to feminism. And I'm out.
Buy a smartphone with GoPhone and get one free when you activate required lines of service and both devices on a qualifying rate plan with a $45 refill. AT&T, mobilizing your world. Offer ends May 31st, 2016. Valid on select phones at AT&T company-owned stores, which require new line of service on purchased phone, and participating authorized retail stores, which require new lines of service on both. Both phones require minimum $45 per month rate plan and $45 refill at time of sale in same transaction. Free phone must be equal or lesser value. See store for details.